everyone celebrating Transgender Day of Visibility. I want you to know that your president sees you. Jill, Kamala, Doug, our entire administration sees you for who you are, made in the image of God and deserving of dignity, respect, and support. But we know it's hard when there are those out there who don't see you and don't respect you. For example, the onslaught of anti-transgender state laws attacking you and your families is simply wrong. This administration is standing up for you against all these hateful bills. And we're committed to advancing transgender equality in the classroom, on the playing field, at work, in our military, in our housing and healthcare systems, everywhere, simply everywhere. Today, we're announcing even more steps, but there's always more work to do to end the epidemic of violence against transgender women of color and girls of color, to ensure transgender seniors can age with dignity, and to finally pass a bipartisan Equality Act, to help transgender persons around the world live free from discrimination and violence. Above all, to be there with you. To parents of transgender children, affirming your child's identity is one of the most powerful things you can do to keep them safe and healthy. To any transgender American who's struggling, please know that you're not alone.
Do you want to meet a family with a transgender kid? Here we are. Max loves to do backflips. Max loves to play his ukulele. Max loves to just be a kid and just be himself. When I found out I was pregnant, all I really wanted was a happy, healthy, whole child. And that's what I got. If you've never met a transgender child before, what I want you to know is that that child is no different than yours. They have the same hopes and dreams and deserve the same equality as your child does. We tell our kids as often as we can that we love them in as many ways as possible. There are some politicians who are trying to tear my family apart simply because my son is transgender. Trans kids don't have a political agenda. They are just kids. They just want to be left alone. My family's just like yours. We love our kids unconditionally, and we will never stop fighting for them.
Now we have this incredible compilation. It's about a minute and a half, but a ton of higher-ups. They did this internal meeting about the Don't Say Gay bill and how they intend to continue to infect people. Take a look and listen to these series of people who they want your kids.
Last summer, we removed all of the gendered greetings in relationship to our lives fields. So we no longer say ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We've provided training for all of our cast members in relationship to that. So now they know it's hello everyone or hello friends. We are in the process of changing over those recorded messages. And so many of you are probably familiar when we brought the fireworks back to the Magic Kingdom. We no longer say ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We say dreamers of all ages.
I'm here as a mother of two queer children, actually, one transgender child, and one pansexual child, and also as a leader. Many LGBTQIA characters in our stories, and yet we don't have enough leads and narratives in which gay characters just get to be characters.
On my little pocket of Proud Family Disney TVA, the showrunners were super welcoming. Meredith Roberts and our leadership over there has been so welcoming to my not at all secret gay agenda. And so I feel like I felt like it was, maybe it was that way in the past, but I guess something must have happened in the last they are turning it around. They're going hard. Let's have these two characters kiss. Let's in the background. I was just wherever I could, just basically adding queerness to if you see anything queer in the show, I'm Proud Family. But I just was no one would stop me, and no one was trying to stop me.
We're also reacting from the reality that when they can erase you, when they can criminalize your existence, when they can demonize who you are, the next step is to criminalize you and take your kids. And we're already seeing that in Texas. So the slippery slope between these ugly messages, emanating from legislative leaders in our state, and then amplified by our governor, whose spokesperson immediately began calling everyone who opposed this bill groomers, AKA pedophiles.
Yeah, I've had the privilege of working with the Moon Girl team for the last 2 years, and they've been really open to exploring queer stories. And so I put together like a tracker of our background characters to make sure that we have like the full breadth of expression. And we got into a very similar conversation, Carrie, of like, oh, all of our like gender nonconforming characters are in the background.
Okay.
It's that the left is obsessed with teaching children about sexual and gender identity. In private schools, it's dubbed a queer inclusive curriculum. It's being secretly rolled out without parents' knowledge by the National Association of Independent Schools. Now, here's part of a workshop that's just now coming to light. They start them real young.
With the younger children starting in pre-K, we talk about their bodies, about the parts that they were born with, about penises and vaginas and whether that makes somebody a boy or a girl, but also their feelings. What do they feel like inside? Do they feel like a boy or a girl? What does their head say? Does their head and their heart and their body match up?
How dare they? Well, what on earth? Thanks to Breitbart, by the way, for publishing this. Now, this isn't going to go over well. Remember what happened when moms and dads across America, by the way, of both political persuasions, saw what happened in Florida, where Disney opposed Governor DeSantis' parental rights and education bill. The law that Disney finds so horrifying merely prohibits sexually explicit instruction for 5 to 8-year-olds, including stuff like this.
Second grade, we move on explicitly to gender identity and talk about it again in terms of your head and your heart and your body parts matching up. And does that work for you? What happens if it doesn't? And the kids draw wonderful self-portraits again, but dealing with all aspects of their identity, including specifically their gender identity.
Now, gone are the days when they're just teaching about human reproduction. Now, by 5th grade, they're taught about sexual expression and more on identity.
Gender expression is what you share with the world. It's something that you can change from day to day. It's completely up to you. Sexual orientation is who you are emotionally and physically attracted to. We talk about gender identity specifically with the gender unicorn, this time talking about things as a continuum.
The gender unicorn. Now, by the time the kids get into middle school, they're then bombarded by efforts to undo any semblance of traditional values that their parents might have taught them. Teachers and administrators, often with very fun personalities, by the way, are eager to share their own experiences with sexual and gender identity. Like this assistant principal in Burlington, Vermont.
Students call me AP Ellis since I don't use gendered pronouns in my name. I personally identify both as gender nonconforming and gender non-binary, in that I do not feel just female or male, but I feel a mix of that within myself.
Then this complaint about misgendering.
As a trans person, it does get really tiresome in conversations where I'm being misgendered and I'm carrying the discomfort of another adult for their mistake, and sort of have to take the burden of the discomfort of that. And again, I think kids do a really miraculous job of not doing that.
Okay, I got it. Children who don't misgender are miraculous because they haven't been ruined by their more traditional parents. I understand. Now remember, these schools are educating the next generation of educators. Got to get them on board. Got to get them on message.
I'm going to open the door for our student panelists to weigh in here.
I feel respected with my gender, but I definitely think that we should talk about it more outside and like more throughout different classes during the day. I am in middle school and I have a younger sibling in 4th grade, and not 100% sure what their pronouns are.
Why are these people so invested in pushing these concepts on children of any age? Now, they seem to forget that parents pay the salaries of these teachers and the school board members. And now it's up to parents to get informed and speak up. Some already are. Families across America are swearing off Disney.
They seem to think are pleasing everyone, when if they actually spoke to the people in the park, they'd find out they're not.
It is the parents' jobs to teach their children on the society of the norms and of the norms of their household.
I think they need to stay out of politics.
But Mouseland isn't backing down. They're more afraid of offending radical activists than they are the families who buy those really, really expensive park hopper passes. Oh, that's fine. We're going to see how that all works out for Disney. Marketing sneakers or those goofy mouse ears to kids, that's one thing. But marketing complicated topics of sexuality and gender, that's grooming. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Joy Reid doesn't like that language. Sorry.
Conservative political operatives have figured out what riles up their base, the fake threat that progressives are trying to indoctrinate their children, to groom them to become gay or trans. These terms, indoctrination, grooming, predator, accusing innocent people of being pedophiles or being soft on pedophiles, it is all so a very specific trigger for a group that is sinking its teeth into our political discourse.
Mixed metaphors aside, whatever term you want to use to describe what they're doing, it's having a dramatic effect on our young people. How else do you explain that today 20% of Gen Z identifies as LGBTQ+, which is double that of millennials, 5 times more than Gen X, and 10 times those who identify as such among the baby boomers? Well, what's happening in our schools is sexual influence peddling. And if you want to protect your kids, you have to get up to speed on what your kids are being subjected to at school.
As a preschool teacher, a drag king, and as a member of the LGBTQ community, how do I feel about the new legislations for like the Don't Say Gay bill? I don't care what the government tells me to do. I am going to do what I think is best for the health and safety of my kids.
Children should go to school to learn how to read and write, to learn math and science and wonderful history. And we are saying that their innocence is worth protecting.
And something cool about me, Miss Hammond? All right. So something that's really cool and unique about who I am is that I am transgender. So we touched a little bit about that at the beginning of this week in the book that Miss Hammond read, but I'm going to give you my explanation about what it means to be transgender as well. So when babies are born, the doctor looks at them and they make a guess about whether the baby is a boy or a girl based on what they look like. And most of the time that guess is 100% correct. There are no issues whatsoever. But sometimes the doctor is wrong. The doctor makes an incorrect guess. When the doctor makes a correct guess, that's when a person is called cisgender. When a doctor's guess is wrong, that's when they are transgender. So I'm a man, but when I was a baby, the doctors told my parents I was a girl. And so my parents gave me a name that girls typically have and bought me clothes that girls typically wear. And until I was 18 years old, everyone thought I was a girl. And this was super, super uncomfortable for me because I knew that wasn't right. The way I like to describe it is like wearing a super itchy sweater. The longer you wear it, the itchier it gets. And the only way to make the itching stop is to have everyone see and know the person that you really are. So when I was 18, I told my family and my friends that I'm really a boy. And it was like this huge weight had been lifted off of my shoulders and I had the freedom to be who I truly am. And even though this experience is super challenging sometimes, it made me the person I am and I'm super proud to be transgender.